and we're going to get started. We are going to record part of this meeting, but not the entire thing. So questions will be open and you can be more private with your questions, but we will record for a small bit of this. So we wanted to welcome you all in. This is our first of our Collaboratives community sessions. My name is Isis Kraus. I'm the Chief Strategy Officer here at Philanthropy Together. I'm joined by my colleagues, Melissa Vargas and Sara Lomelin. We're so excited to be working with all of you on the Collaboratives portfolio. Melissa, if you want to go to the next slide. So Philanthropy Together, we are a global field catalyst for collective giving. We do storytelling and trainings and convenings and community building all around elevating the field of collective giving. And that's everything from super grassroots giving circles to giving projects, women's funds, and of course, collaboratives as well. We're so excited to be here with all of you. We wanted to give just 1 minute of background around some of what we're working on. If you want to go to the next slide, Melissa. So we're doing two things. Number one, we really want to help catalyze the field of collaboratives overall to be stronger and more connected. We hosted a huge summit last October with many of you here in the space today. So happy to see you again. We do a lot of virtual community building and networking, learning webinars for collaboratives like this one, and other community building efforts. And then the second hope for this work is on the actual funding side, is to have more and more informed donors joining in to supporting all of your work. So through that, we're working really closely with the Gates Foundation team. They have a whole site experience around collaboratives. We host a ongoing training model for philanthropic advisors to better understand collaboratives and bring them in. And we do lots of storytelling and awareness as well. So hopefully those two pieces together are trying to elevate the field. Next slide. What we're doing here today are the start of our Collaboratives community sessions, with lots of thanks to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation for enabling us to host these. These are going to be monthly or even bi-monthly events for everyone to learn and hear about different important topics facing collaboratives with guest speakers and the like. And we're so excited to kick it off today with the Audacious Project. So thank you everyone for that. And last but not least is we have a whole virtual community space happening on Slack. We have an email listserv, a WhatsApp group, lots of ways to get engaged if you're not. And Melissa will pop in some links for you to sign up for that. So that's it from us. Happy to answer any questions that you have. So great to be in this space with you. And I'm really very excited to welcome our Audacious Project friends, Angelina and Max and Diana and Adrian, lots of folks here to share their wisdom and knowledge around how collaboratives specifically might be able to share their audacious idea for the Audacious Project. So I'm going to turn it over to them.
Thank you, Isis. Nice to meet everyone and see familiar faces. My name is Angelina Njokun. I'm an associate director here on the Discovery and Insights team. You can kind of think of us as the sourcing team at Audacious. I'm joined today by several colleagues from my team, so I'll let everyone introduce themselves just so you can put a face to a name, as well as Adrian, who leads our donor community. So Ashanti, Max, Diana, Adrian, feel free to introduce yourself.
I can go first. Ashanti Singha. I run the amazing Discovery and Insight team. I'll mostly be quiet listening, but we'll chime in at the end, and I'm excited to see you all. I'll send it to Diana.
Hi, everyone. Diana Reynoso. I am the project coordinator for the Discovery and Insight team, as well as our portfolio impact team. I've been with Audacious for about 1.5 years, and I am based in Austin, Texas. How about you, Max?
Hey, I'm Max Richards, also an associate director based in Cambridge. Been with Audacious for about 2.5 years. Adrian, I don't know if you want to jump in.
Yeah, I sure do. Thanks, Max. Hi, everybody. Adrian DeCaspero. I'm based in Seattle. I've met many of you through this community and just really grateful to Philanthropy Together for continuing to bring folks together around these topics. And we're excited to share, and I'm sure I will be learning as well. So who do I hand it back to? Angie?
Yep.
Thank you.
I'm going to start sharing my screen so Angie can start us off.
Thank you. Okay, so the Audacious Project is a collaborative funding initiative housed at TED that catalyzes bold ideas to address some of the world's most pressing issues. We're here today to share with you a nonprofit leader who may be interested in applying a bit about Audacious and to answer a few common questions as you consider submitting your inspiring idea to our open idea survey online. In addition to what we share here, our website, audaciousproject.org, has even more information you can explore. Let's get started. Okay, so first, a bit about Audacious. Started 7 years ago, the Audacious Project is an attempt to identify the boldest ideas for change imaginable and help turn them into action. But what do we even mean by an audacious idea? We are looking for ideas that both inspire and convince. By inspire, we mean a bold vision and unique approach that demonstrates a leap forward and potential to shift the status quo. One that is led by a capable, trusted, and proximate team, and where there is a catalytic role for philanthropy. And then the ideas need to be able to convince. There has to be a track record of results that couples with clear and credible pathway for implementation, and that centers the community being served in the solution. It should also be housed at an NGO or nonprofit institution that can deliver that impact.
So how do we get there? Audacious is usually a 14 to 18 month cycle that covers all of these steps. But we'll start off with where we're at today, which is sourcing and vetting. What does this entail? So our team sources and reviews hundreds of ideas. We get them from a network of partners, we get them from donors, as well as the idea survey that's open online year round. We're issue area agnostic, we're geography agnostic. But really more than that, we're intentional about having diversity across those, as well as stage of the organization, type of model. We take all that into consideration when we're moving organizations forward in the process. So following, and just to give you the deadline right now, I'll probably mention it again, but the deadline for the idea survey this year is April 15th. So following the review of all the idea surveys, we'll extend application invites to a subset of candidates. So to give you a sense of the numbers, last year, we reviewed about 1,300 or so idea surveys, and we ended up extending app invites to about 75 or so. So once we're at the application stage, we bring in SMEs, basically experts in the issue area, experts in the geography, typically a cross between the two. They help us evaluate. And then from there, we'll end up going pretty deep into diligence on roughly half of the invited applicants. So during this entire process, we're going to dig into the theory of change. We're going to get to know the team leading the work. We'll dig into the financials a bit, talk to experts in the field through our own network. We'll talk to partners of the work. And actually last year, we went on a few site visits as well for the first time, but they were great, so hoping to do that again this year. But all of this is really just to understand, what does the organization do? What is the vision that they have? What's the impact that you're really looking for? Do you have the track record, that's led up to this point and enabled you to really make that next leap? But through all that, we'll ultimately land at a cohort of 8 to 10 finalists. And Angie will share a little bit more about some of the categories that kind of represent past finalists.
All right, and just for everyone's awareness, later on, we're going to share a little bit more about a few of the projects in our current portfolio. So they each fall into one of these categories: solutions at scale, ideas that deploy proven interventions at full potential with audacious funding, make a significant progress towards solving problems. We also have pathways to proof, ideas that with audacious funding will demonstrate further growth and significant results, and also breakthrough science, ideas with audacious funding accelerate visionary research with critical long-term applications for humanity and our planet. As a collaborative fund, we encourage you to focus on submitting an idea in your submission versus providing details on the regranting structure at this stage. As successful applicants advance through our process, we'll learn more about your partners and how you address equity and accessibility in your grant-making process. Right now, we're most interested in learning about the innovation you've unlocked and what outcomes could be achieved at the end of a multi-year funding term. It will also be important to think about how you'll seek funding beyond Audacious as you consider the sustainability of your model. We encourage applicants to attach a visual theory of change or any other document that can help explain your vision. And for those who applied in a previous round, we welcome new submissions. Okay, so as we strive for collaboration and work with candidates as they become finalists to refine their ideas, diving deeply into the work, the motivations and opportunities fueling it, as well as surfacing questions and alternative perspectives and pathways to ultimately build in partnership a bold, compelling vision to share. This next part of the process takes about 5 to 6 months after finalists are selected.
And that is where the overlap with my two teams happened when Discovery and Insight help select the finalists, and then my other team, Portfolio Impact, comes in. We work closely with the project teams on crafting their investment proposal. Then we gather input from donors and experts along the way. This proposal captures the multi-year plan from your idea that would be around 5 years. It includes key activities, milestones, expected impact, and an unrestricted budget that is being shared with the donors. And then with these proposals that are crafted, we also have the projects distill the essence of their ideas in a TED-style talk that is filmed in our office. These talks provide an important window into the project, but it's also just like for the leaders to have a chance to share their plan in their own words directly to the donors. Then we work with the project leaders to prepare their ideas for funding and launch. We bring donors together where the ideas are presented, both the investment proposal and the TED-style talk, so they can learn more before making commitments toward the projects they would like to support, which can be more than one. This is collaborative, but at the end of the day, it's an individual decision for them. Then we have the opportunity to share these newly funded projects with the TED community and the public in one of our conferences. This is a TED Talk that is public facing and is different than the one that I just mentioned. Our projects, TED Talks, have generated over 67 million views to date. So with all of this, what have we accomplished to date? Over the past few cycles, the community has pulled over $3 billion in service of 49 projects in our portfolio currently. Then they have been able to catalyze an additional $1 billion in funding. As Angie mentioned, I'm going to be sharing some of our grantees, and I really hope that they can inspire you for your idea. First, I'm going to talk about one of our latest projects from this past cohort, Renew 2030. They are a global coalition of 8 regional foundations that are led by the European Climate Foundation. They seek to dramatically scale renewable energy by empowering local leaders, communities, and activists by engaging in advocacy, research, diplomacy, and organizing. Together, they mobilize governments, businesses, financial systems, and communities around the world to scale wind and solar power capacity 5 times by 2030, like their name says, in the 30 countries responsible for over 80% of power sector emissions. Their work will put us in the path to climate-friendly power, improving energy security, creating new jobs, and delivering enormous health and economic benefits. We're showing you this as an example of what a successful regranting idea is. Now I'm going to talk about Living Goods and Last Mile Health. These are 2 different organizations. They came together to submit an idea, and that idea is to prove the case that community healthcare workers are instrumental to resilient health systems. Together, they work alongside leaders in their core countries. They strengthen the performance of community healthcare workers programs at a national scale so that every family can access the healthcare they need to survive and thrive. Audacious support specifically gave Living Goods the runway for large-scale growth and evolution as an organization. It also created space for them to test and learn with which of their interventions yield the highest impact, optimizing and professionalizing community health workforces in a cost-effective manner. And this is an example of how two organizations' collaborative approach can solve a significant problem.
Okay, so alongside these projects, we'll be announcing our newest cohort of ideas later this year. We're also wrapping up for our next Audacious cycle that has a submission date of April 15th, which is just over a month away. And we're excited to learn more about your work and ideas, so we've reserved the rest of the time for an open discussion. Feel free to raise your Zoom hand if you have questions, and we will drop a link to our website in the chat now.
We're going to stop the recording on our end to make sure that you all feel as comfortable as possible and asking your questions privately.